Everybody, it's Wade. Welcome back to In the Gutter for my weekly, in this case, semi-weekly comic book haul. We had a Veterans Day last week, thanks to all our veterans. But we didn't get any Marvel at my LCS, so I decided to skip a week. So I got a double-sized load for y'all. Starting out with a mix of last week's and this week's books. So we have Redcoat, number 15. And the perspective changed a little bit because I just picked up about 50,000 cardboard boxes for my eBay stuff. So we're up a little higher today. This is Jeff John's script with Brian Hitch artwork, and the Return of Benedict Arnold. Spoiler. Annual 2025. Whoop, Poison Ivy number 1. This is kind of a little fairy tale story by G. Wilson and Mark Buckingham, doing what they do best. And then number 3 out of 4 of Maria Lovett's Artificial. These are the pretty much sort of like romance, sort of R-rated, semi-pornographic horror sci-fi stories that are quite good. This is the penultimate issue of this miniseries, which I'm enjoying quite a bit. And the long-awaited, extraordinarily late Batman 162 Hush 2 by Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee. My LCS owner blamed Jim Lee for this being late, so we'll just keep that to ourselves. Okay, this week I picked up Minor Threats, The Last Devil Left Alive, number 2. This is Patton Oswalt and Jordan Bloom scripts with Scott Hepburn artwork. This is a Scott Hepburn cover, I believe. Sorry, I'm down really low, so I gotta reach up here. So number 2 from Dynamite and DC Comics, Harley Quinn X Elvira. This is an Amanda comic cover, written by Jimmy Palmiotti with Amanda Connor artwork. I think she did 2 pages in this one. And then Juan Samu interior artwork, which is very Amanda Connor-like and quite good. And the anthology of horror, Hello Darkness. This is an R.L. Stein story. This one has the Rebecca Puebla cover with various artists and writers working on this one. Pin-ups, little comic strips. Always lots of fun. If you haven't gotten into that and you like horror at all, I highly recommend Hello Darkness. Or reorganizing. That's why stuff's bobbling. Speaking of horror, hey, you want to keep your zombie family alive? Then Everything Dead and Dying is the story for you. This is number 3 from Image Comics by Tate Brombo. This is a Jacob Phillips cover with Jacob Phillips interior. It's Walking Dead-y, but more of a love story and what you do to keep your family alive. Or maybe a little bit of Pet Sematary from Stephen King, if you ever read that book. All new Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider from Marvel Comics, issue number 4 from Stephanie Phillips with interior artwork by Paolo Vianelli. This is a David Marquez cover. And if you don't have enough female spider characters in your life, there's Spider-Girl number 6. This is a DNA cover, David Nakayama with Torquin Dronbeck script with Diogenes. Nieves interior artwork. Pardon my pronunciations. I probably slaughtered that name more than one way. Marvel, Black, White, and Blood and Guts, number 2. This is a Lenil, boy, I didn't even write this down clearly, Francis Yu cover, sorry. Looking at my notes. This is various stories including Garth Ennis, John McCrae, and Ty Templeton in this one. Lenil Francis Yu. That's the name of the person who did the cover. I mispronounced it. And then continuing with the Godzilla Destroys the Universe, issue number 5. This is a Mark Brooks cover with Jerry Dugan in script and Javier Garron interiors. How they make these as interesting as they do, I'll never know. I thought these were going to be a complete waste of time, and it turned out to be some of the most fun stuff I read in the fall with these Godzilla comics. And continuing with Chip Zdarsky's Captain America, this is issue number 5 with the Ben Harvey cover. This is Valerio Schiti artwork inside. Yep, include your joke there. All right, Batman, Superman, World's Finest, number 45. This is Mark Waid scripts, of course, with Adrian Gutierrez interior artwork and Dan Morris covers. Fantastic stuff, lots of fun. Hey, Lex Luthor teams up with the Joker in this episode. Lots of cool classic DC concepts and lots of fun modern executions. Amazing Spider-Man, John Romita Jr. cover with Joe Kelly and Joe Kelly scripts and John Romita Jr. interior artwork. Still always fun. They kind of skip around. Seems like they have like 3 rotating artists on ASM for the most part. The Deaths of Spider-Man and Wolverine number 7. This is Spider-Man Wolverine 7 with Carrie Andrew covers. Mark Guggenheim did the script at Carrie Andrew interiors. Hey, if you're a fan of Todd McFarlane, this person, Karen, seems to be heavily influenced by Todd and has taken it to their own level which I appreciate. Kind of a more classic Spider-Man story with the Amazing Spider-Man Torn miniseries. This is Mark Chiarello cover with J. Michael Straczynski script and a Pepe Perez. Did I wrote that down wrong? Yeah, Perez interior artwork. And this one I think I was a week late on, but the Batman Deadpool #1. This is Grant Morrison's script with Dan Mora interior artwork. And there's a bunch of mini-stories, little team-ups, including work by James Tynan, I guess is the actual pronunciation, Scott Snyder, a bunch of people. It's kind of cool. They have these DC Marvel crossovers that are kind of hidden away in the backstories, and I think there were 4 of them. So this is, I believe, the A cover. And then I picked up the Batman Deadpool 1 with Emma Frost and Catwoman. And that one is Sozo Maika, I believe. Sozo Maika. And then I picked up the Bill Sienkiewicz homage to Hulk 340 with Hulk and Wolverine, and you know, the McFarlane cover. But this one, Sienkiewicz, super cool. That's a keeper. Not like I was going to throw any of these other ones away, but you know what I mean. All right, pardon my bouncing. Not the most stable environment. All right, this was good stuff. So John Le Carre's The Circus, Losing Control #1 for Dark Horse Comics. This is a Matt Kindt script. I think it's an adaptation of obviously someone else's book. I don't know. I don't read books. I read comic books. With Ibrahim Mustafa interior artwork. So I like the show Slow Horses quite a bit. This is an MI5 kind of story about the circus, which I think is like the park if you watch Slow Horses. But espionage stuff set in the UK. So far so good. Nice little slow burn in the open, but I am intrigued. And yeah, this one is a little darker, but the Absurd Adventures presents American Capers #1 for Dark Horse Comics. Dan Houser scripts with Laszlo artwork. This one is I just read it. I'm trying to figure out how to describe it. Maybe I shouldn't, and I won't spoil it. But it's got a lot going on. It's sort of a parody of American political culture and families, and it's got a twist that you wouldn't expect. So I'm digging this one. So #1 really hooked me. Looking forward to reading the rest of this series. And a book I'm already hooked on. We're into the 4th issue of Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, The Rite of Spring. This is the 2nd book from Patrick Horvath. It's about animals that are, what's the word? Infused, entwined with a serial killer. Some simultaneously really interesting and sweet stuff mixed with the darkest stuff you can imagine. All right, everybody, that's a twofer. I know you got to get on with your lives. So until next week, hopefully, or at least next time, keep your mind in the gutter.